In 1947, the city of Los Angeles was shocked by the gruesome murder of Elizabeth Short, often referred to as the Black Dahlia. Elizabeth, a striking young woman with raven black hair, aspired to the glitz and glamour of Hollywood's golden age. Yet her dreams were brutally cut short, her life ending in a way that seemed more akin to a horror film than the silver screen stardom she sought. Elizabeth's body was discovered on a chilly morning in January, in a vacant lot in Lymont Park. The sight was horrific. Her body was severed in two at the waist, completely drained of blood, and posed in a chilling tableau. The corners of her mouth were slit 3 inches on each side, giving her a haunting, clown-like appearance. Her once vibrant life was reduced to a macabre spectacle, a sight that would forever scar the memories of those who first stumbled upon it. The news of Elizabeth's death sent shockwaves through Los Angeles. Newspapers latched onto the story, feverishly reporting every gruesome detail and speculative lead. Sensational headlines dubbed her the Black Dahlia, a moniker inspired by the then recent film noir The Blue Dahlia. The name stuck, transforming Elizabeth from a victim into an almost mythical figure of the city's dark underbelly. Investigators were inundated with leads, sifting through over 150 suspects in their quest for justice. Yet, for all their efforts, the identity of Elizabeth's killer remained elusive. Theories abounded, from jilted lovers to deranged doctors, each more fantastical than the last. Despite the media frenzy, the public's morbid curiosity, and the tireless work of the investigators, the killer remained a phantom, slipping through the cracks of a city that was too shocked to see clearly. Despite massive media attention and numerous suspects, her killer was never identified. The Black Dahlia case remains one of history's most infamous unsolved murders, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the city of dreams. 1948, Australia. An unidentified man was found dead on Somerton Beach. As our story unfolds, we find ourselves on the sandy shores of South Australia, where a mystery is about to surface that continues to perplex investigators to this day. An impeccably dressed man with no identification or distinguishing marks was found lying on the beach, his head propped against the seawall. His pockets held no clues to his identity, just an unused second-class rail ticket, a pack of cigarettes, and some matches. But the intrigue deepened when a concealed pocket was discovered in the man's trousers. Hidden within was a scrap of paper, torn from a book, bearing the words Tamam Shud. In Persian, Tamam Shud translates to ended or finished, an ominous note that only furthered the enigma surrounding the man's identity and cause of death. Was it a suicide note, a cryptic message from a killer, or perhaps the final statement of a spy caught in a web of international espionage? As investigators dug deeper, they discovered a car near the beach with a discarded book in the glove compartment. It was the very book from which the Tamam Shud note had been torn. Inside the book, a mysterious code was found, composed of a series of letters carefully arranged into 5 lines. Despite numerous attempts by cryptographers and code breakers, the code has never been deciphered, leaving us with more questions than answers. The man's fingerprints were circulated worldwide, yet no matches were found. His face was broadcast across the nation, but no one came forward to identify him. His autopsy revealed no clear cause of death, adding another layer to this inscrutable puzzle. The Tamam Shud case, as it came to be known, remains one of Australia's most enduring mysteries. A man without a name, a death without a cause, and a note without a clear meaning. With no clear cause of death and a mysterious code in a book linked to him, his identity and his murderer remain unknown. Swedish Prime Minister Olof Palme was shot dead in 1986 while walking home from the cinema with his wife. A sentence as chilling as the cold winter night on which this tragedy unfolded. Olof Palme, a prominent figure on the global stage, was known for his impassioned speeches and his unwavering stance against the apartheid in South Africa. His assassination sent shockwaves far beyond the borders of Sweden. On the fateful night of February 28th, Palme and his wife Lisbeth decided to attend a late-night movie. dismissing their bodyguards in an attempt to enjoy a normal evening out. While walking home, a lone gunman approached them and fired shots, fatally wounding Palmer. Despite Lisbeth's identification of the attacker and dozens of witnesses, the assailant managed to disappear into the labyrinthine streets of Stockholm. In the aftermath, the investigation into Palmer's murder became one of the largest in global history. Over 100 people confessed to the crime, yet none could provide details that weren't already public knowledge. The prime suspect, Christer Pettersson, was convicted in 1988, largely based on Lisbeth's testimony, but was later acquitted due to a lack of evidence. Theories about the murder abound, each more intriguing than the last. Some point towards a lone wolf with a personal grudge, others suggest a far-reaching political conspiracy involving foreign governments or radical groups. Even the South African apartheid regime and the Kurdish rebel group PKK have been implicated. Yet, the true identity and motive of the killer remain elusive. In 2020, Swedish authorities announced that Stig Engström, a graphic designer who died in 2000, was likely the assassin. However, with no possibility of a trial and no new evidence, many remain skeptical. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged, from political conspiracies to lone gunmen, but the true perpetrator has never been conclusively identified. The assassination of Olof Palme remains a wound in the heart of Sweden, a reminder of a night when a beacon of hope was extinguished on the streets of Stockholm. Before the Golden State Killer was captured, another predator, dubbed the original Night Stalker, terrorized Southern California between the late 1970s and 1986. In the dark corners of our history, there lurks a figure as elusive as he was violent. Known as the original Night Stalker, this unidentified assailant left a chilling trail of terror in his wake. His reign of fear extended across parts of Southern California, from the quiet suburban neighborhoods of Santa Barbara County to the sun-drenched shores of Orange County. Operating primarily at night, as his moniker suggests, the original Night Stalker committed a series of heinous acts that shook communities to their core. His modus operandi was as calculated as it was terrifying. He would stalk his victims, often for weeks, learning their routines, their vulnerabilities, before striking under the cover of darkness. The victims were often couples, in their own homes, a place where they should have felt safe. His crimes were marked by a chilling level of cruelty and control. He would bind his victims, taunt them, and then commit his horrific acts of violence. This wasn't just a spree of random violence, but a calculated campaign of terror that left communities living in fear. Despite a massive manhunt and the involvement of multiple law enforcement agencies, the original Night Stalker managed to evade capture. His ability to slip through the fingers of law enforcement has added to the enigma surrounding him. Over the years, countless leads were followed, suspects interrogated, but all to no avail. The identity of the original Night Stalker remains shrouded in mystery. His crimes ceased as abruptly as they had begun. To this day, no one knows why. Did he move? Did he die? Or did he simply disappear into the ether, leaving behind a legacy of fear and unanswered questions? Responsible for at least 10 murders, this elusive criminal's identity remains a mystery. As we delve into the annals of true crime, we are reminded that sometimes the monsters are real and sometimes they walk among us hidden in plain sight. 1957, Philadelphia. A young boy, estimated to be between 4 to 6 years old, was found dead inside a cardboard box. This is the chilling start to one of the most enduring mysteries in American crime history, known as the boy in the box case. In a city that's seen its fair share of crime, this case stood out. A child, alone and discarded, his life cut tragically short, his identity unknown. Despite the tireless efforts of investigators and the public, both the boy's identity and the identity of his killer remain shrouded in mystery. The boy was found in a remote corner of the city, his naked body wrapped in a plaid blanket inside a bassinet box. His hair had been recently cut, perhaps in a hurried attempt to disguise his identity. There were signs of malnutrition and recent trauma, a haunting testament to the short and tragic life he led. This case, more than any other, has left a haunting mark on the city. The face of the boy, reconstructed by forensic artists, appeared on countless posters and television screens, looking out at a world that failed him, a silent plea for recognition that went unanswered. Over the years, numerous theories have been proposed. Was he a victim of domestic abuse, discarded by parents who no longer wanted him? Was he a lost child, sold to a family who could not care for him? Or was he the victim of a darker, more sinister crime? Despite the speculation, no theory has ever been proven and no suspect has ever been identified. His identity and that of his killer remain unsolved. This poignant case has haunted investigators and the public alike, begging the question, who was the boy in the box? Even as the years pass, the hope remains that one day the truth will be revealed and justice will finally be served for the innocent life lost all those years ago. While we yearn for answers and justice, these cases remind us of the mysteries that persist in the shadows. The Black Dahlia, the Tamam Shud case, the assassination of Olof Palme, the original Night Stalker, and the boy in the box. Each of these stories represents a puzzle piece in the vast, unsolved panorama of true crime. These unsolved cases continue to baffle, intrigue, and haunt us. For more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and like this video.